Thanks for joining us for a presentation on the wide range of tech and data programs that are offered at McMaster Continuing Education. So my name's Dave, and I'm an information specialist here at McMaster Continuing Education. Before we start, I would like to acknowledge that McMaster Continuing Education is located on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and Haudenosaunee nations, and within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. These are the programs we're going to be chatting about today. So data analytics, data science, and big data programming and architecture. I'm going to be saying the word data a lot today, and I tend to flip back and forth between whether I say data or data. So hope that doesn't bother anybody too much. But yeah, these first three programs are like the beginner, intermediate, and expert levels of the same field. So there's, and these are big programs. They're very popular, especially the beginner level one. A lot of people are really hot on data analytics right now. So we'll be chatting about that. We're also going to talk about open source intelligence, full stack development, and our Microsoft Excel analyzing and visualizing data course. The courses in these different programs they're offered in either a convenient online asynchronous format or a virtual classroom format. I think actually some of them are in online self-study as well, which is like a more independent learning format. So yeah, a bunch of different options depending on what you're taking, and we'll go over that as we talk about these more individually. All right, so let's move on to talking about data analytics, the first program here we're going to discuss. So like I said, really popular program right now. And I just want to make some notes that these are the slides that we've prepared for today's webinar to give you a glimpse into the profession, the top skills, job titles, average salaries, and overall future outlook. And please note that the salary information applies broadly to all related jobs within an occupation and is calculated based on all jobs within the occupation. So these salaries are, they're really like, super average, right? Like super sort of, guessing, based on a calculation of a really broad range of things. So, obviously take with a grain of salt, etc. So let's start with data analytics. So let's take a look at Data David. So your average Data Davids are going to be making like around 85,000 a year. They're going to know things like data analysis, SQL, Python, Power BI, Tableau, business intelligence, data visualization, and data modeling. And you can see, career opportunities kind of reflect, similar careers to what those skills would support. Various kinds of data analysts, managers, quality managers, that kind of stuff. These skills definitely can apply to a lot of fields, of course. Like, you're looking at these different job titles, like, there's jobs for these in like many different types of fields. So, depending on what you're interested in, it might be relevant to you. And there's an excellent job outlook for the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, these are, highly sought after roles right now. So let's talk about our actual program here in this. So basically, we offer a certificate in data analytics, or you can get a certificate of professional learning in data analytics. So the certificate is 5 courses. If you want to do a little bit less than that, you can get a certificate of professional learning by taking 3 courses, as you see on the right-hand side. So yeah. These are developed in collaboration with top industry experts like the Mac Data Institute, the McMaster University DeGroote School of Business, and this, like I said, data analytics is the introductory level program out of like the 3 that focus on the same field. Most courses are delivered in a virtual classroom format, which combines live sessions with independent study activities, and that provides an accessible and engaging mode of face-to-face training from the comfort of your home. these courses provide prerequisites for professionals interested in pursuing the intermediate or the more experienced program streams that we're going to be discussing up next as well. But from the data analytics program, what you can expect is learning to apply statistical methods for the analysis of data sets, how to collect, analyze, interpret, and share data, identifying relationships in data, how to select and employ problem-solving techniques, and source standard and web-based tools to test analytical solutions, and employing data models in business intelligence, often known as BI, and data analysis case studies. So you can visit our data analytics page to learn more about this exciting program. That's yeah, we get a lot of questions. I mean, my whole job is answering questions about these programs, and we get a lot about data analytics. So very popular. So like I was saying, data science is kind of the next stream up. So but same sort of position. So the career outlook very similar, right? A lot of the same skills, but maybe more advanced in those areas. And you start getting into some different stuff. I think when you're a little bit more advanced, you get into things like machine learning and stuff. Maybe not so much as a beginner, but it just depends. I think what your where your interests lie and the needs of perhaps your work or whatever you're doing. And you can see top posted job titles for 2022: data scientists, machine learning engineers, data analysts, analytics managers, business analysts, etc. Okay, and also with an excellent outlook. All right, so let's move on and talk about the just the program specifics. So similar to data analytics, a certificate in data science can get you you do 5 courses to earn it, and then it's 3 courses to get the certificate of professional learning. So they're delivered in virtual classroom formats, these courses. So once again, you have that option of that nice sort of professorly lecture experience from the comfort of your home. And what you're going to learn in this course is how to translate business problems into analytical problems, how to propose and refine analytical solutions to business problems, problem-solving techniques and software tools to test analytical solutions, common industry software tools, how to identify, test, and evaluate model structures to solve business problems. Now, I also want to mention that the data science program offers a capstone project course, which aligns with the Certified Analytics Professional, or CAP, competencies. So you'll work with faculty or industry mentors on real-world business problems and/or projects to apply analytic models and tools learned throughout the program. Okay, so let's then move on to the big data programming program. So kind of the most expert tier of this field. And you can see a lot of the same kind of stuff, maybe some, a couple of different things added in. Agile methodology sticks out. I don't think it was on the previous ones, but you guys get the idea. I think it's just, as you go, as you get more sort of advanced in this field, you're gonna learn about some different things. Career opportunities. You have big data architects, database developers, data engineers, data visualization developers, business analytics specialists, and so on. Once again, also excellent career outlooks for this. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about the program itself. So similar to the others, the 3-course professional learning certificate of professional learning, and the 5-course certificate. And again, people often ask us, like, well, what's the difference? Like, why shouldn't I just take the certificate of professional learning, for example, versus the certificate? Like, why should I take 2 more courses? And it really just comes down to, well, what do you need to know? What kind of credential do you want? How much time do you want to spend in schooling, right? So those are, and you can apply that to any of these programs that you come across on our site or that we talk about today that have these different options of three course certificate of professional learning versus this kind of certificate. Maybe an employer is saying, well, we require that you have at least a certificate or something. And in that case, that would make your decision for you. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. That's really what it comes down to. Is just like, well, how much do you need, and how many courses do you want to take, what do you need to get out of this? So, anyways, okay, back from that, a little aside, getting back to this specific program, what you'll learn in big data architecture is how to implement cloud computing concepts, how to build a variety of IT infrastructure in the cloud, proposing and refining analytical solutions to business problems, collecting, analyzing, interpreting, and sharing data, as well as identifying relationships in data, and working with open source and scalable database tools. Open source intelligence program. So for this type of work, career outlook is also quite good. It's not a huge field as of yet, but it's very sort of emerging thing. It's one of those things that, is kind of this highly specialized area. But the people who need it really need it, and they're going to be pretty well compensated in most cases for those special skills. But it just depends, I think, on the job, and it can apply to a lot of different fields as well. As you can see here, some examples. The top job titles listed for 2022 were open source intelligence analysis, threat intelligence, intelligence analyst, fraud analyst, research analyst, right? And as you can see on the left here, these are the kinds of skills you can expect your average OSI Oscar to have, right? So open source intelligence, web scraping, big skills with like SQL and Python with data, using these tools to like data scrape and stuff like that, or gathering information, and general computer science skills, data analysis, and cybersecurity. Okay, so let's move on to talking about our program itself. We offer a certificate of completion in open source intelligence. So to earn this, you just complete all 4 courses. It is delivered in a micro-credential format. And the courses are delivered in a mix of online self-study and virtual classroom formats. So there's different classes in this program are delivered in both of those types. So you do have to be a little bit adaptable for this program to kind of be able to do like both virtual classroom and online self-study. So it's something to sort of, be aware of. Yeah, you can see the courses listed out here: Tradecraft and Operations, Python for basic collection, Python for advanced collection, data mining and analysis essentials. So you're going to learn to utilize the latest technology and advanced research techniques, how to recognize cyber threats and safeguard your safety and privacy online. And by the way, I'm actually gonna back up for a second and give people a basic definition of what open source intelligence is, just for anybody who maybe doesn't know. Open source intelligence is essentially using learning to use tools like Python and other various tools that are technical tools that are out there to gather information that is freely available, that is open source, basically. So it's information that's just out there. You're not learning to be like a hacker that is, accessing like information that they're not supposed to. It's information that is, freely available on the web, but not necessarily easy to gather and not necessarily easy to like analyze on a mass scale. So it's learning to effectively do that. And it's like, here's like this public database. How do I use tools to like pull out information out of this database and, learn a bunch of interesting stuff from that. So it's useful in like in journalism as well as, things like, law enforcement and all kinds of other things like that. So really, quite an interesting field. So getting back to this list, how to accurately assess the value of data of online sources, and design tools and processes to collect and manage data, use various tools and methods to monitor online and social media sources in real time. So should give you an idea. Yeah, pretty cool stuff if that's the kind of thing that you're looking for. So let's talk about full stack development. So full stack development, I mean, this is obviously super popular. Lots of people are looking to get these skills. Basically, we're looking at, website building with some applications for like app development as well. I believe it's, to the extent that there's crossover between those things. So if that's what you're interested in learning, this is the program. And I know a couple of you, I think, mentioned you were interested in this for sure. So yeah, you have basically the way, well, there, yeah, this is such a broad field, right? That this, average salary for this one would definitely, encompass a really broad range of stuff from, absolute beginners to, people who are very high up and make a lot more than 63,000, for example. So it's, but yeah, these are the top posted job titles for this, and particularly you can see UX is in high demand, which I guess is why everything in UX is rounding out the top 5. But there's definitely a lot of demand for the other parts of this as well. So I think people who are pursuing this understand, basically what kind of stuff they're getting into with this. So let's just go and take a look at our program. So, for the so the way this works is that there's 3 certificates that you can get in this program. You can focus on the UI UX, and that's 3 courses. You can focus on front end development, and that's 3 courses, or you can focus on back end development, and that's 3 courses. So we offer those 3 like discrete certificates that you can earn specializing in those areas, and they each consist of 3 courses. If you want to learn all of it, you can take all 9 courses and you earn the diploma. So that's how this program splits up. So depending on, what courses you're taking, these are the kinds of things that you're going to be learning, basically, UX, UI, you're focused on your user experience. It's not so weighted heavily with like computer coding. It's more about the design and sort of thinking up like, what do we want the user experience on our website in our product to be. And then with front end, you're learning coding stuff and design stuff as well. That's going into the part of the website or the app that users are using, and making sure that all that stuff is working and looks good and all that kind of stuff. And things are light up when they're supposed to, and all that kind of good stuff. And then back end stuff is like, let's say you've got a database on your website that is, holding it all together and making sure that search works, and that the results that you want for users are displaying correctly, or those sorts of things. That's your back end skills. Okay, so that's basically how you can split those up and think of it. You can see here we got a quote from a recent graduate. That's the courses are offered are invaluable and are taught by the best of the best. Completing courses at McMaster Continuing Education will only put one an advantage when it comes to obtaining and retaining a job. Thanks, Mariana. Yeah, so that's right. They're great courses, and definitely highly sought after skills and a highly sought after career. So, all right. Let's talk about Microsoft Excel. So if you're here watching this presentation, if you work in, gosh, any kind of office setting, or an organization that has an office somewhere, there's probably somebody using Excel for something in that. It's obviously a hugely used, very, very capable and useful piece of software. And a lot of people would benefit, including probably myself and plenty of others could benefit from pumping up their Excel skills a little bit. So this is a really neat program that we offer. So basically it's about 21 hours of coursework. You can start at any time. So it's available on an ongoing basis. And it's just all, there's maybe like a little bit of time every year where it's not available for like a week or something, where a little turnaround happens, but it's basically available all the time. And then you can start at any time, and then once you start it, you have 12 weeks to complete the course. And like I said, that's about, within that 12 weeks, you have about 21 hours in total of coursework. And the really neat thing about this program is that it uses you get access to this platform called SimNet. And what SimNet does is it assesses where you're at in terms of your skills, and then it provides you an Excel interface to learn and practice your skills and do stuff without having to actually have Microsoft Excel yourself. So if you're thinking like, yeah, I'd like to learn this, but I don't have a copy of Excel and that stuff is kind of expensive. Yeah, well, no doubt. And that's why you would learn on this SimNet platform, and it knows what your skill level is at, and then gives you stuff that you're going to learn. So basically, no matter what level you're at, you can learn stuff. So you can see, I won't go through all the details in this list. You guys can see that for yourself, what kinds of things you can learn. But basically, whatever you need to learn, SimNet is going to assess where you're at, and it's going to be like, okay, you need to learn this, and you get access to that for life. So you could to the SimNet platform, so you could potentially go back and have it be like, keep teaching you stuff even after you've finished the requirements for the course. So this is a really cool one. And so moving on to this slide, this has a lot of the information that I was just talking about. Obviously, it is online in a self-paced course, so you're not, there is an instructor, but you don't have like lectures with it, so you can ask questions and everything. But yeah, see expert instructor available for questions and support. But yeah, you basically have like, unlimited practice for real life business cases because of that access for life. And this is good for basically everybody, or everybody who works in some kind of office setting, I should say. You can be, professional in basically any industry. Or maybe the thing that's held you back from changing your career before is that you couldn't Excel your way out of a wet paper bag, and they said, no, we need you to have these skills. And so maybe you're interested in career change, and maybe I don't think anybody actually picked out this program, but it's definitely one that you should consider, really, almost no matter who you are. So I think yeah, here we have some stats here. I forgot to mention job postings between February 2022 and 2023 saw a 13% increase in they're looking for MS Excel skills. So let's that's the course, those are the programs that we're going to chat about today. So I'm just going to talk for a few minutes about how to register. So registering for any of these programs that we've discussed is quick and easy. The majority of our programs are open enrollment. So, and when we say open enrollment, that means that there is no application. Okay, so if you're sitting there thinking, well, I'm really interested in this program, but I don't know if I'm gonna be, I don't know if they're gonna let me in. Well, we will let you in, because you're let in automatically. For all, I believe, let me see. Yeah, all the courses that we've just the programs we've discussed here today, you can just add a course from it, one or more courses from that program, to your cart and pay for it, and that's it. You're in. That's all you got to do. Now these are the criteria that we, that people really should have. Basically, you should have a high school diploma or its equivalent. It doesn't actually have to be from Ontario. It can be, from other parts of Canada. Or if you have the equivalent from another country, like, that's fine. And if you don't have a high school education, but you've just been out of school for like a couple of years or more, then you'd be considered a mature student, and then you're also eligible. And then if you somehow don't fit into one of the above categories, then we will also consider exceptions to that, which is what deemed an exceptional case means. So basically just about no matter who you are, you can probably take our courses. It just depends. Obviously, like, so when I was talking about something like data science or the big data architecture, those programs are meant to be like intermediate and advanced levels in that field. So if that's not you, then don't take that program, right? But and there is a on the program pages for those programs, there actually is a quiz on the right-hand sidebar that will help you determine what level you are, within that field. So you can use that if you're kind of unsure. And any programs that do require you to have a background besides what is in this list here, they will indicate that. They'll say like you should, this is meant for people who already know something about it. So you'll see that. But for the most part, our programs are pretty open and friendly to beginners, data analytics, full stack development, Microsoft Excel, definitely, that kind of stuff. You can just jump right in with no prior knowledge and and learn lots of stuff, which is really great. And I'll mention the English language proficiency as well. If you're not fluent in English, what you should do is it looks like we don't have the link on this slide, but if you just Google McMaster English Proficiency, you'll find a web page that lays out some test scores. And those are basically, we don't ask you to submit test scores for our open enrollment programs, but if you just look at that and you see like, okay, that's where, that's the test score of what I need to be successful in these programs, like in terms of my English level, that gives you the reference. So you can kind of get that reassurance that like, okay, yes, my English is going to be good enough for this program. Okay, so that's really what you need to know for registration. If you have more questions about it, we have a contact form on our website that you can reach out to. But I'll talk about that more in a second. I'm just going to mention this slide here. We have more tech and data programs that we didn't talk about in this presentation, but we have health analytics. That's like a 3-course program. That's like kind of like data analytics. So it's entry level, but it is purely focused on health. So if you want to work in healthcare and do like data stuff, and you're a beginner in either one of those areas, like maybe you work in health already but you don't know tech, or you work in tech but you don't know health, then it's kind of a good like way to bridge that gap. You have privacy management, and then we also just have various, we can do if you work for a company and you want to get training for staff, like sort of at a larger scale, we can arrange that with you. We can do set up like customized programs for corporate partners. And we have the Learning Continuum 55 plus courses, which are basically, they're really for, they say 55 plus, but they're really for anybody of any age. I saw, I'm not over 55. I saw a course on there that I thought sounded really fun and interesting. So there's, this is, more sort of for general interest stuff, right? And then we have a couple of learning partners such as Ed2Go and YouGotClass that offer some other technical programs as well. If you want to really deep dive on like SQL or Power BI, for example, you could do that. Or certified AWS, that being Amazon Web Services. So you need to be an expert in that for the kind of job you're looking for. You could look into those courses as well. So yeah. If you missed out on the tech and data webinar series in the spring, you can watch all the recordings from that on our YouTube channel. So these were hosted by our instructors, and they shared like more sort of in-depth information about data analytics, data management, business analytics, and open source intelligence. And they also give a sneak peek into what some of the courses will be teaching. So if you're interested in kind of getting more in-depth info about, sort of a preview of some of this stuff, then go check those out. You can see our YouTube link is in the slide here. And I think if you just search us, McMaster Continuing Education on YouTube, you'll find our channel as well. You can see here's where you can contact us as well. You've got our home website, and then you've got our our contact us link as well. If you just go on our main website, you'll see there's a tab there that says contact, and we will see you guys again some other time. Okay, take care, folks.